everybody, I am still on the Energica Eva Ribelle RS electric motorcycle that I've got on loan from English Electric Motor Co. I've done a few videos on this already that you may have seen. Today's video is going to be talking more about range and charging. Now I'm going to put on the screen here the suggested ranges they give, but a general ballpark that I was given was if you absolutely spank this bike, you'll get about 70 miles out of it. And if you go a bit more normal, you're going to get somewhere between 100 and 120. When I say normal, I mean riding it like any bike. Unlike in the past where I try and run a battery out in a single day, this is actually getting ranges that are like, there's a bit of a push to do that in a single day with mixed riding. You know, I can spank it everywhere, sure, and do it quite quickly, but that's not going to give you a great idea of what you're actually going to get. So what I've been doing is sort of mixed riding over the past 2 days. I haven't charged the bike. I'm currently sat at 99 miles done. 31% battery remaining and 33 miles left in estimated range. Now obviously I don't want to push this thing until I'm like nearly out of battery, and as I've been told it's better to charge this thing over 20% anyway, because I think it's faster in between the 20 to 100% range. So I'm basically going to ride it around a bit more, see what it says when we get down to about 20%, get to a charging station, try the DC charging on this because it's supposed to be able to charge it in about 40 minutes. I've found so far that these estimated ranges on these electric bikes are damned accurate. As long as you keep riding in the same style and you don't suddenly change from doing, going around town at 30, 40 and then straight onto a 70-mile-an-hour road, as long as you keep the riding consistent, you shouldn't have any problems with that range being inaccurate. Now, if you've watched my previous videos or you know about this bike has got a pretty hefty price tag with it. There is no denying that. And for that reason, I'm not sure whether range is as important. And my thinking behind that is, someone who buys this is probably buying it as a bit of a toy. Not sure if they're going to be using it for, for long distance touring or anything like that. Thank you, mate. It is a joy to ride this thing. Now, as I've discovered over the past couple of days, because I've been doing lots of riding, I haven't filmed all the riding obviously because I really want to get miles on this, want to experience it. Some of that I want to do sort of, in my own time. Someone was asking me, what is this like on the motorway? Well, this is 70 miles an hour. It's perfectly comfortable doing this. You've got loads of torque left to pull away, no problems at all. It's very windy, but then it's a hyper naked. The screen for me isn't doing a lot, but as you can see, that's just going to direct it into my chest and face pretty much. But obviously it kind of is what it is with a naked. We've reached 102 miles covered, 25 miles remaining, 29% of battery, which is going to put us at around, 125 miles out of a single charge, which is bang in line with what I would expect for what I've been doing. It's a mix of everything. I have been squirting around quite a lot because obviously when you have this much grunt under your right hand and there's a gap, oh, do you use it? Only for a split second, but you only need it for a split second and it makes quite a big difference. This bike is a bit of a head turner for a couple of reasons. One, it's red and it's good looking. The other one is because people are going, what the hell is that noise? On the Zeros and stuff, people look, but because of this straight cut tooth transmission this has got on this, so it whines, people hear it from a mile off. And maybe that's the solution to electric motorcycles and no noise. Give them all a straight cut tooth transmission. Sure, it means you've got to change the oil in that occasionally. Oh, what was that? Was that traction control or was that the motor holding off for a second? That went, I got all sort of like, prepared for the acceleration G-force, and then it cut, and then it came back again. I've just done another loop. One of the surprising things about this bike, given that it weighs 260 kilos, is just how flickable it is. You do sort of counterlean a little bit more, but it's not difficult to ride, and I'm sure that's down to the fact that most of the weight is really low down, although the battery does extend, quite a way up the bike, but I assume that the majority of the weight is on the lower half of the bike. Okay, we've done 105 miles on the nose, we have 26% of the battery remaining, and it's given an estimated range of 26 miles. Yes, that's increased. That is because it's been going, okay, yeah, you're doing some fast bits, you're doing some slow bits, yeah, well, you can get about 26 miles on that. It's like, it's pretty quick how it adjusts to what you're currently doing. So if you say you've got 26 miles here, if you jump onto a 70 mile an hour road, it's going to quickly go, oh, you haven't got that now, and let you know. Right, let's head towards the charger, because we're getting down to a point that I'm quite happy to say, yeah, I believe what they say. You know, and even if I do push this thing down to a very, very low level, all I'm doing is giving you a one case scenario without a lot of detail of exactly what roads I went on. Another thing I've noticed about the Energica is the fact that it can crawl very, very slowly. And what I mean by that is the zeros, in my experience, can't do less than about 4 miles an hour. You know, if it's on, it's got about 4 miles an hour to it. But this, 1 mile an hour, it's still going. You can't put cruise control at 1 mile an hour. I've tried. See, it's now saying 27 miles remaining because I've just been crawling for a while. Trying to remember, I looked at the map. If you remember in a previous video when I was on the SRF, and I've also I do realise in a couple of videos previously I've been referring to the Zero SRS, and I meant the SRF. It's basically the same bike, it's just a different fairing, and my brain just went S rather than F. Yeah, I was saying last time I remember I was looking for a charger point and it just wasn't there. It was because I had a postcode number 1 letter out. And the charging point does exist. No, this is right. Follow this down to the big roundabout, around the roundabout, into the car park, and there should be a Genie point, a DC charging point there. Well, it should have all the options, including DC. There was another one that I wanted to go to, but that's got a fault on it at the moment. I mean, props to the app to actually saying, yeah, this one doesn't work, but at the same time, that's just highlights some of the issues with the charging networks when chargers don't work. I'm sure that's been exacerbated maybe in recent times by the fact that, you know, with COVID and everything and all the drivers getting pinged. It seems like I have two options here. I go round or I go through. Where is it? There it is! Okay, what were our final stats? Okay, we're up to 107 miles. 27 miles of estimated range remaining and 24% of the battery remaining. That's damned impressive. This is definitely in line to do 120 miles, which is the top end of the, if you're pushing it a little bit, estimate they gave me. Which is, it's good. That's pretty good. I mean, obviously it kind of should be for the price of this bike. If I haven't mentioned that and you haven't seen a previous video, this bike is 25 grand. Well, the base one is. This actual one's 30. So how do you charge this thing? Well, you put the key in under here, this pops up. And then you have your charger point here for your, you know, like you can use the 3 kilowatt charger at home. And I think you can even use the like 22 kilowatt versions, but this has got DC. For up to 50 kilowatts. I believe that's what it can supply. I don't know what this actually charges at, but yeah. So, we need to make sure we've got one of those plugs, which we should do. No, yes. That's the one we want. So what you do... Now, I've previously set up the Genie Point app on my phone. It was an easy process, only took about an hour. However, start a charge, where are we? Once you've got it set up, it's not too difficult. Select a charger. I want 665, there we go, GP10665. So we go that one here. Then we say, what connector do you want? We want 50 kilowatt DC CCS. And we say, connector 2, charge now. Click to start charging. So, we take this. We hope the cable's long enough. Which it barely is. Yeah, plug it in. That. Click to start charging. Click to start charging. Connecting. DC fast charge initialization. Why have we got a... what's that mean? Why have we got a exclamation mark going on? Now, I've been told sometimes you have to turn the bike on and then turn it off. Cancel. Cancel! Oh, no, no, no. Okay, we got it out. This one. Connector 2. Plug it in. Click to start charging. Oh, something just clicked. I don't believe I can take this out now. There we go! DC fast charge, 9 kilowatts, 8 kilowatts. Estimated time left, 58 minutes to 80%. Are you going to increase the power over time? Now obviously you can put the steering lock and everything on. This stays up, there's nothing you can do about that. The charger gets locked in by the bike until you put the key back in, so no one can unplug this. It's kind of locked into it at this point. After about 15 minutes of me sitting here, I suddenly remembered that on the switch here, you can adjust how many amps it's charging by. See, it says set 75 amps now, whereas it said 30. It's now charging at 22 kilowatts, which means it's down to 17 minutes. Why didn't I realise this until just now? I'm just sat here like, huh? Why is it saying that long? It shouldn't say that long. It was charging at literally less than half of what it should have been. I'll show you. So we can turn this down to 5 amp charging, and it adjusts everything, and it's like, well, that's going to take you 3 hours, 26 minutes, 4 hours, blah, 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 blah. That stopped whining. Or we just crank it up to, well, crank it up and rip the knob off, so 75 amps. Brings it up to 22 kilowatts, 75 amps, and say 16 minutes. You do have to obviously put the key in the ignition to do that, so no one can come up to your bike while it's charging and just turn it down so it doesn't charge for you. Okay, so we've been charging for 24 minutes. We have 6.8 kilowatts on board now, £2.13 is the charge. It still says, well, we are 66%, so we are 6 minutes to 80%. Why has that just gone off? It's just dropped to 15. In order to, I think that was a balancing thing. Right, we're going to do it again. In order to optimise the come on. In order to optimise the battery, it's suggested that you do not what? No, just, I can't. Let me look at it. You do not disconnect until the charge is complete. It is balancing. Basically, the way that electric batteries work in motorcycles is they don't work with like one battery and it just puts all this extra power in the same way. It's 3-phase. So you have 3 parts of the battery which have 3 power inputs which gets charged at the same time. And obviously if you imagine you have 3 different cups like you're keeping things in, every now and then you might want to balance those out and make sure they're even. And that's something this bike will do. And the way it does that is it will slow the charge down. You see, we're dropping down to like 5 kilowatts per minute and then back up to 22. It's kind of like trimming backwards and forwards to try and balance it out. You know, it does show that we are really progressing quite quickly here, because this DC charging has already put filling one of these bikes into a sort of usable category. However, what you should do with these bikes is put them on the 3 kilowatt slow charger and put it on balancing at home, so you can sit there and very, very slowly charge it up and balance each cell, and it basically just looks after it a bit. Which is obviously no big deal. You just plug it in, put it in the mode and close your garage door. Assuming you have a garage door, and if you don't, this is where the problem comes for a lot of people who are saying right now, yeah, this is all very well and good, but I don't have this outside my house and I don't want to have to sit there for 40 minutes and yeah, these are all issues that are going to have to get solved in the future. I don't know what the options, the serious answer to these things is, but this is what it is. It's what it's like to live with an electric right now. However, what I will say is, I wish that these companies who put the chargers in would consider where they're putting the charger in. because there is nothing to do near the chargers. I mean, there was one I used before that was next to a Morrison's and a carpet store. Fair enough, I could go in Morrison's, there was a cafe, I could have something to eat, that was a pretty good call. This one, well, there's a funeral director's with a gym either side and a dance studio. Oh, hang on, no. It's fitness, dance, carpets, kitchen makeovers, top shot snooker, then death, then the 360 gym. 75%, 2 minutes remaining. Woo. I am going to charge this up to 80. I'm going to use it today, and then I'm going to stick it on the slow charger tonight. Okay, we're up to 80%, or 81% now actually, and it's giving us a range of 103 miles, which is more than enough for today. I don't need to fully charge it up. I can do the rest at home on the slower charger. We can press stop on here. That clicks. That stops. Ignition on, and that should unlock. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so that charge took 36 minutes. It would have taken less time than that if I hadn't spent the first 15 minutes with it on, 9 kilowatt charging. If I put it straight up to the full power, it would have been much faster. But whatever, it's fine. 36 minutes to give us 8.92 kilowatts of power, which cost us about it was £3.12. It's increased our miles from 24, as it was saying, up to 102, which is more than enough for the day. And that, my friends, is that. Job done, bike charged. As long as the charger's working, and as long as you've got everything set up right, this bike is incredible for charging. Let's leave this video here because that covers range and charging and what most people are going to want to know. Yeah, it's pretty incredible how quickly it can do it, and it's obviously it's not as fast as petrol and it's not as convenient as petrol, but we're getting closer and closer. If you enjoyed this video, or at least thought that it was informative, please hit that like button. I would very much appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new here, and if you want to help support this channel, then please consider doing that through Patreon. Links in the description. There are many benefits to that, and it only costs about £1 a month. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.